Just Baseball Show, an interview episode on Wednesday, April 23rd. And we got Kameron Misner with us of the Tampa Bay Rays. This guy is one of the hottest hitters in Major League Baseball to begin the year. Cam, 18 games, you're hitting 360. You got a 1064 OPS right now in the big leagues, man. I know it's a spring training ballpark. It still has to feel like the show, and I know you're coming to us from Phoenix right now. Dude, what has this start been like? And thank you so much for taking the time.
I mean, it's everything. It's everything you wanted. It's everything you worked hard in the offseason for. And you get to the big leagues, the first thing you want to do is have success, obviously. And whenever that happens, it's a good feeling.
Being able to get a little bit more runway now, too. And I know that it was kind of a crazy end of spring training, even where you initially thought you might be going to Durham and then you get the opportunity at the big league level. But I just think about, I think you made your big league debut last year, like coming off the bench in like a pinch hit spot against one of the best like relievers in baseball. Like that's a crazy spot to be. But when you got up, even though it was kind of a back and forth, knowing that you were going to get some games to be able to play, or maybe you didn't, like, was there any idea of how much runway you were going to get, and did that give you any freedom potentially, knowing that you're going to be able to maybe play a handful of games and get some momentum going?
No. I think last year when I was called up, the lineup was healthy at the time. I was getting at bats every 3 days. Off a ninth inning closer. It didn't go my way, obviously. Anyways, but then coming into this year, like you said, I was optioned down. They told me the lineup was full and healthy again, and then there's some injuries that happened, and I was able to get called up for opening day. And I think that's kind of how it led into it. Now there's been more than one injury, and I've kind of been able to play almost every day, and I've taken advantage of that. And I think it's just honing in on the opportunity of it and taking advantage of it whenever I get in the lineup.
So how do you take that, just knowing that, okay, this may be a few games, a few weeks, I don't know, and not maybe press too much in those sample sizes? Of course, it helps when your first opportunity is a pinch hit, walk-off home run. But in general, like, how do you not press, knowing that, like, oh, I need to prove something here, but also at the same time, like, staying dialed in and making the most of those limited opportunities potentially?
I think the whole pressing aspect of it was more so last year. I think when I got called up, it was a role that I had never played before. I've always been an everyday player, and I've always been consistent. I go to bed, the next morning I wake up, I'm playing in the next game. And when I got called up last year, that was not the case. It was every 3 days I was getting one at bat, and it was just a role I've never been in. And I think knowing that and knowing and watching the other big leaguers and how they go about their bats and how they go about their business, there's certain things you have to do at the plate to be successful, and I wasn't doing those things. And I think knowing that this offseason and doing the work I did and then going into this year, I was able to, in spring training, prepare for those at-bats. There's certain games where you back up in spring training, and I took that as an opportunity, kind of like game-like situations in season where I'd come in the game. And, I really honed in on that through spring training, and I was fortunate enough that opening day I actually hit the walk-off, so it was pretty cool.
So, Kameron, I am curious because, obviously you're trying to stay ready at all times. And when you're in AAA ball, you're really just trying to, break through, get to that, final level, get to the highest level that we have on the planet here. But, you repeated AAA after an entire season at AAA in 2023 as well. When that call came at the end of 24 and when that call came again at the beginning of 2025, was there any piece of you that was like, I've been in AAA for so long, like I'm a little nervous to get to that next level? Or are you saying, I've been ready for 2 years, let's get after this?
Right. Last year when I got called up, it was like, oh man, I'm going to the big leagues. It's a very surreal moment. It's awesome. But now it's like in 2025 came after I did it. I swung the bat well in spring training and played well, built the confidence up. And it was more so like, all right, now I'm ready. I was like, let's go. It's not as much like, oh, you're in the big leagues. It's more of, let's go win. How can I help the big league team win today? And just the confidence I have in knowing that I can help the team win in many different ways. I think that's really what fueled me, being able to keep myself in the mindset of having an opportunity. Like when I get in the game, I'm ready,
Building off of that too, I mean, you go into that spring, you absolutely mashed OPS north of 1,000. I mean, just the batted ball data was ridiculous, and you just look super comfortable. You made some significant mechanical adjustments going into the year, just quieting things down. I want to dive deeper into that, but before even getting into the subtleties and the nuances of it, like, did you really feel going into that spring I'm sure you were taking, a lot of reps off the machine and maybe some live IBs even before spring. Like, did you feel like those changes were really going to unlock another level out of you? Did you go into spring knowing, like, just wait till everybody sees what this new and adjusted Misner is going to look like?
I've always done a lot of really good things well when it comes to offensive, like their walks and being able to control the strike zone, things like that. But like you said, my bat to ball skills haven't been there. There are a few other things that haven't been there. But I think the work that I put in this offseason, like whenever I left Atlanta and headed to spring training, like I knew that like I had cleaned up what they really wanted me to clean up. And whenever I felt that, and I remember I had my first couple of bats in spring training and just how the at-bats went, like I knew I was in a lot better place. And just those first couple ABs, the confidence they gave me, and I really trusted like the work that I put in. Because in all honesty, I've never worked like I did this offseason. I've never done that before. And even the players that I was around, it was really cool and special, and it was a really good thing for me.
How did the work differ? Like, why did the work look different? How did the work look different than your previous off seasons?
And I did a lot of hunting in the past couple off seasons. Did a lot of hunting, and I did a lot of baseball stuff too. But it was more so just somebody front tossing me, my dad front tossing me, or a guy I'd go to and he'd throw to me. But it was never like I was never around any other big leaguers. I was never around anybody else. I was just hitting on my own. There's never really a work or process behind it. I was just getting my swings off. I changed that this offseason. I was, around a lot of big leaguers, and the guy that I hit with, he didn't as much as show me how to hit, because I already knew how to hit. It was more so like, this is how you get to clean up like the stuff you're doing wrong. Like I can help you clean that up, and he kind of showed me, and he showed me what other big leaguers did and how they were successful, and I think the fact that he just hands-on showed me, I was able to watch him do it, and I was able to look over and see another guy doing it, and being able to pattern that, and understanding, like, to be able to get the most out of yourself, like, this is what you have to do. And I honed in on that, and I'm very, very grateful of the opportunity I had.
Did you still get to go hunting a little bit? Like, how many times did you get out this winter?
Yeah, I still went a handful of times.
Yeah, I love it.
I actually went with guys from the facility I was at, so
Good.
ways.
There you go. That's awesome. No, and just seeing the shift there too, right? Where like you mentioned, just you've always controlled your ABs well. I mean, you're an incredible athlete. For a guy as big as you, being able to move the way that you do, as explosive as you are, like that's what's made you such an exciting player, and why teams have been so excited about what can be, and we're seeing it in real time now. But that last little aspect, right, of just increasing the contact rates just a little bit more, where then all of those tools can shine through. It must have taken a certain level of buy-in from you too, because I mean, you're still succeeding through your life, right? You've been drafted high, you were great in college, you're climbing through the minors, you got to the big leagues, like you've done good things. So to fully adjust, and I know you're still probably doing a lot of things the same, but did quiet down a lot of things, did adjust your setup and the whole process. Like, what was it that got you to fully buy in? Because I can imagine that's probably a little scary, just reshuffling something that you've done one way or similarly for so long.
I think whenever I got called up, because I was in AAA, like I said, for the second year, and I was playing every single day, and it was, I was doing okay. I was getting on base. I was still putting up numbers. But like you said, the swing and miss. In AAA, you get away with some swing and miss. They'll feed you another pitch, you can get away with. But in the big leagues, I get up there and I get those at-bats in the ninth every 3 days. Like, if you missed your pitch, you're done. You usually only get one pitch, if that, to hit. And I think just knowing that and understanding that whenever I got up there, the whole role switched, and I realized that, like, I can play up here, and I know I can. And I've been doing it for however long now, but there's these certain things that are glowing that are holding me back. And, the Rays did a good job with that as well. It's kind of explaining to me, like, look, this is what we see. And I kind of took that into the off season, and I went to Maven, the facility, and I talked to Tyler, the guy that helped me hit, and I was like, look, this is what they're saying, and this is what they're seeing, and then he kind of broke it down, and he showed me like very successful guys in the big leagues and what they all do, and how I'm not doing that, and they kind of put it all together, and then every day we worked to get to that point, and it kind of and it wasn't easy the whole off season. I mean, there was days where it felt terrible, but
yeah.
I think just having the confidence that like I am doing it right, and now I'm on the right path. it gives you something else to work towards. You know what I'm saying? You're always in the box in the minor leagues. Like, how do I get to the big leagues? How do I get to the big leagues? You got this coach telling you need to do this, and this coach telling you need to do this. And as a hard worker, that's what you want to do. You want to make everybody happy. But I think, like, how I grew up, like, whenever somebody tells me I have to do, I'm doing something wrong, like, I really, really focus on it. And I want to do it right. I feel like that's every big leaguer's mindset. And I think I went into offseason with that mindset. And, like, look, I have to clean up. I have to fire from inside the ball. Like, I'm not doing that. Every successful big leaguer hits from inside the baseball. And that's something I've never done. And that's kind of the biggest issue I had. And that's what I focused on.
Real quick, Cameron, who are some of the guys that you kind of looked at? Like, who are some of the big leaguers that you ID'd and said, okay, I'm not doing this. I got to look more like that when I swing?
Well, I mean, I remember that I was hitting in the facility, and Matt Olson was hitting before me, and he was doing one of the same drills that I was working on, and I had butchered it the day before. Like, it just felt terrible to me. And I remember sitting here watching him do it, and I was like, man, that's clean. Like, he's doing that very, very well. And, Olson, I mean, he's the player he is. And I remember watching it, and I'm like, man, how do I get to that? And I remember watching him do it and how he went about it. And then I remember Tyler kind of explained to me, like, how he didn't look like that when he first started doing it. There's a certain growth that he had, and it's kind of the same growth that I needed to have. And it was pretty cool. Cedric Mullins is in there, watching him as a left-handed swing. It's a beautiful swing. It's just cool being able to see the guys working on the same things that you are, and how they are very, very clean at it, and how you're not. You know what I'm saying? It's an eye-opening of how do I get better. Basically.
What was the biggest shift for you in terms of like the mechanic side of things, and what you think maybe has unlocked the most just consistency from you? Because when I'm looking like side by side from your swing even last year and where you're at now, of course, like there's a little bit more moving parts to just like where your hands were doing and just kind of keeping that going. But even like the angle of the barrel is something I noticed too, where like right as you kind of get to your slot, before that barrel was kind of angled upwards and a little bit more in the direction of the pitcher, where now it seems like there's like an intent to keep it a little bit flatter behind you and almost like keep it more like pulled back with the scap there. Like, was that a big focus for you in terms of where your hands are and your load there? Because I know there's also things with the lower half that you pattern as well.
Yeah, I mean, 100%. When I had my hands away from me, and I would pump my hands, and I would never get them back early enough, which caused like my hands to be away from my body. It was kind of caused like a seesaw effect. The main goal in baseball as a hitter is to keep your barrel in the zone as long as possible. And what I was doing, I was kicking my hands out, and I wasn't able to do it early enough to get them back, which caused kind of a seesaw effect. My hands were in and out of the zone really fast, which caused a lot of every day. You're searching for a feeling. Like, it doesn't feel the same every day because you have to be so perfect with it. And, the main goal was I'm going to put my hands up a little more. I'm going to start them inside the ball. And I'm just going to put myself in a better spot to hit earlier. And I remember thinking, like, if I get my hands here and inside the ball, I'm going to be able to turn inside the ball a whole lot easier. And now it's less of, well, how do you feel that day? What's your swing feel like? Blah, blah, blah. It's, okay, my hands are here. I'm inside the ball. Now all I have to do is go. If he hangs the ball or if he leaves something up, like I'm focused on hitting it hard. It's not so what do I have to do to be able to hit this ball? It's don't leave it up when I'm hitting it hard. You know what I'm saying? It's more of a mindset mentally too.
I'm sure Aram has more on this, but I am curious, like, when did this not be a foreign language to you? When did it like all click? Because obviously you're laying all that out and the seesaw and everything there. It's like, I'm hearing that and it's like, okay, the generic baseball fan is not really going to understand the intricacies of what you're talking about here. And I know that a lot of hitters, like when they start, it's just, yeah, I feel good, I'm going to swing it. When did you really kind of get into the nitty gritty and really, start to understand what needed to happen anatomically?
I think the day one, like the first week of spring training, I think I started to really get at bats doing it. I got at bats in the off season, and some were good, some were bad. But it was once I got to spring training, it was the consistency of doing it every single day and knowing that like I was getting good results with it. And it was more the mental side. Like I kept showing up every day, and I wasn't fighting myself. I wasn't fighting my own swing. I wasn't fighting the fact that like I have to do this, I have to do that to be able to hit this ball. It was more so like when I get in the box, like if he leaves something up, or I'm going to hit it really hard. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So when I was able to like free myself up and kind of feel like I was athletic again and be able to play and just look for a good pitch and hit it hard instead of fighting my own self in the box. And I think that was the biggest part for me, was just understanding again, you don't fight yourself. I mean, baseball's hard enough.
Yeah.
You just look for a good pitch and hit it, and you're not fighting your own mechanics and all that. Like, I put myself in a good spot this offseason, and now I'm able to let it show and play.
What would you say like the biggest shift has been in terms of when you're now having these at bats, like what you're maybe there's a pitch you're covering and you're like, whoa, I was not covering that pitch that easy before. I imagine, like, I'm just watching you get on planes so much easier from that spot too, with where your hands are at. I imagine the high fastball's got to be a lot easier. It's never going to be easy in Major League Baseball, but a little bit easier to get to. Like, is there anything else that you've noticed? Like, maybe I have more time to adjust. Like, what's been the biggest eye opener of like, whoa, I'm getting to these balls here and I'm battling in these ABs. Like, that pitch used to do me in.
I think the biggest part is we talk, like, here's to talk about your A swing. How do I get my A swing off as much as possible? And I truly feel like there's one pitch in that bat that I can get my A swing off. Preferably earlier in the count, obviously, but I feel like I've always seen the ball well. I've always spit on. I've always swung at the right pitches. And now it's just I'm putting myself in a good spot to start. And now it's like whenever he's coming to me, I'm going to him. And like I said, don't hang something because I'm ready to hit. I think it's just the mentality of being ready to hit and understanding that, trusting yourself and trusting your eyes, that I know that, like, if I get my swing off, good things happen. And I think it's really just trusting my eyes and knowing that, good things happen whenever I get my swing off. And like you said, different pitches, like I used to take until I get a perfect pitch, and a lot of times it would result in strikeout. I'd walk a lot or whatnot, but when I hit the ball, good things happen. And I feel like I can hit anything. It's just a matter of I'm on time or not. And it's a good feeling to have.
Without giving away any like state secrets, how has your individual like scouting report changed? Not about you, but just the way that you kind of go about scouting an opposing starting pitcher. Because I'm sure that's changed a little bit now that you kind of feel this like newfound freedom to, attack guys and maybe what their weaknesses are, or maybe like they have a strength that you feel like you can exploit.
Right. I think, like you said, they have multiple strengths. Pitchers have strengths. They get paid a lot of money too.
Yeah.
I think it's understanding what their strength is and how I'm going to get to their strength. You're not going to hit their strength. That's just the game of baseball. Like, if they throw all the right pitches, they're going to get you out. But I know that, say a guy's a really good splitter, I know if I get him up, like, he's either going to keep throwing the splitter down and I'm going to take it, or he's going to leave it up and I'm going to hit it hard. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like battling of how do I get him out of his strength and get him into mine. But yeah, just kind of just understanding how he's going to get you out, understanding what he wants to do, how he's going to set you up, what you're good at. Like you talked about the high heater. If I know I can cover a high heater, I'm not going to look for anything down because I'm comfortable with this high heater that day. And his off speed's going to pop out of his hand because I'm on I'm on time for his heater up. You know what I'm saying? It's just kind of different battles like that. I kind of understand what pitches he's going to throw, the shapes they're going to look like, where he has to start each pitch to land. And like I said, trust in my eyes. I get in the box and it's like, all right, I already know what he has. I've seen it. I've watched video on him, and now it's just kind of real time. Like, if I see it, I'm going to hit it hard. If I don't, he's going to get me out.
How impressive has it been, just especially after joining the Rays organization, just the amount of information they probably have, especially as you get to the big league level, and everything that you just have at your disposal there. I'm imagining it might have been even overwhelming at points, but now getting to a point where you're at the big league level, you can leverage this information. Like, is it really just amazing to you, some of the things that the Rays are probably able to mine up and find and identify?
Oh, it's awesome. I mean, there's things, there's video clips from all angles. I mean, you're being able to see guys, the shapes of their pitches before you even get in the box. It's way different once you get in the box. That day they could have something completely different going for them than they did the start before. And that's kind of the fun thing about baseball, is you get to watch the game and you're attacking the guy, what he's got that day.
Yeah.
But yeah, the information you have, the scouting reports, you have good scouting reports in AAA and stuff, but they're not like the big leagues. They have information on the guys who they've been throwing in the league for, however many years. You get good information. It's how it's kind of individual based. Some guys like different things. Some guys like these things. That you just kind of pick and choose what you like. I like to see what pitches he has and the percentages he throws them. The guy could have 6 pitches, but he only throws 3 of them to lefties, and I like to know that. Just certain things. Like guys like different stuff, and like I said, I like to know the percentages of what he's got and what he throws, and how he and even watching guys in the lineup in front of me, Aranda and Belau, who are really good hitters. Like I'm going to get pitched similar to them. The only other lefties in the lineup, and it's not. It's just it's a lot. It's a lot easier to play the game when you're playing for something. If that makes sense. In the big leagues, like you're playing to win. It's fun. Like when you hit a home run, it matters. In the minor leagues, you're playing to win. It's fun, but at the same time, like you said earlier, you're trying to break into the big league level. At the big league level, like we're here to win and play, and you play for everybody else, not as much yourself. So it's kind of it frees you up a little bit. It allows you to go out there and trust yourself and trust the guys around you and really have fun.
Aram has loved Aranda for a minute now, and I mean AAA. Like we're huge fans of what the Rays have cooking over there, and I mean we're like the 2 biggest fans of Ronnie Simon out there right now, and like Ronnie just debuted with the Marlins yesterday, and you got like Meade. You've been teammates with him in Durham, and you've been teammates with a lot of these guys. Just how good are some of those guys that are not household names around Major League Baseball, like Aranda, and then some other guys that you were in Durham with?
They're very good. Really good. I mean, it's hard to talk about it, but like you give those guys who aren't big names, you give them every day at bats, like they're going to do really special things. But it's how, as an organization, like how do you give them every day at bats? Like I said, Aranda, he's one of the best hitters I've ever seen. I watched him all at AAA. Like the stuff he's able to do with his hands in the barrel, like it's impressive. How he controls his and it's really cool to watch. Meade is awesome to watch hit. He's not getting as consistent at bats, which is very, very hard to do. But he's one of the best hitters I've seen too. AAA, he had a 3-month stint one time. And I was like, who is this guy? It's awesome. He's fun to watch. They're awesome to have in the clubhouse. Ronnie Simon, he's an electric player too. I played with him for a couple of years. They're all good dudes, and they play hard, and it's a tough game. When they get their opportunity, they take the most of it, and that's how can we help the team win? That's kind of the goal.
100%. I want to ask you a little bit about just kind of where you came from, and on like Wikipedia. Says you're from Poplar Bluff, Missouri. Is that correct? Is that the town you're from?
Yep, that's where I'm from.
Population, what, 20? I'm going to get 16,225 as of the 2020 census.
That sounds right.
What was your kind of baseball life and life in general like out there? I know like you grew up, if I'm not mistaken, off like on a farm, right? And like that was kind of the lifestyle that you had. Like how was the baseball life for you there? And just what was your experience kind of being from a more rural area?
It's a very rural area. There wasn't very many people that went and played baseball or did much of anything. I mean, the sports athletics are, it's a good town. The sports of fans, everybody. It's a very good place to grow up. I loved it. But like I said, the high school, not very many people go places out of high school, like athletic-wise. I was fortunate about 45 minutes away from Sykes, and there's Blake DeWitt. He played for parts of 7 years, I think. So whenever I graduated high school, the first 2 or 3 off seasons, actually, I'd come back and I'd hunt and hang out, and I'd drive 45 minutes every day, and he'd throw to me. And having that connection was good. But like I said, I had to really learn to get better at baseball. I kind of had to go out and get to a better spot. It's not as the fact that I was hit with other people. You know what I'm saying? Like I was with other guys. It was easier to kind of learn and get better when you're with other big leaguers who have already done it and are still currently doing it. I don't know. I think that I'm very fortunate from where I came from and how I got to here where I am today. But I wouldn't change anything. I think a lot of it had a lot to do with how I learned and how I grew up. I worked hard, and I think it got me to where I am today. And I wouldn't take anything back.
All right, trivia for you. You go to the University of Missouri. There are 6 guys who have racked up, I think, 3 or more WAR in Major League Baseball out of the University of Missouri, or the top 6 in WAR out of the University of Missouri in their career. Who are they?
Oof. Sick. There's 6 of them.
Say, like the top 6 in WAR out of the University of Missouri, because one of them, like
Hitters
you
wise.
know very well.
Hitters wise.
Just total
Think
pitchers,
about it.
hitters. Yeah,
I mean, I just faced Tanner, so
Houck. Yep,
yeah,
Houck is up there.
Scherzer, Kinsler,
Scherzer, Kinsler, nailed it.
Crow,
Aaron Crow is just
Ooh.
outside.
just outside.
Just outside. Another '09 draft pick, though. Starting pitcher. Been around for a minute.
Man, who am I thinking of? Oh, St. Louis. I actually faced him in St. Louis last year.
Yep.
I can't even think he actually spoke to us when I was at Mizzou. What's his name? I forgot it.
Kyle Gibson.
Yeah, I guess.
Oh, he's a Mizzou guy.
He's a Mizzou guy.
Good
And then the other one, if Fairbanks is going to be pissed you didn't name Pete Fairbanks, huh?
Oh, he's a shoe-in. He's on my team.
Those are the 6.
Yeah.
It was always Missouri for you, huh? I mean, I'd imagine it just seeming like it just being closer to home just seems like you really like where you grew up. Or did you look around a little bit more and think about maybe venturing out?
No, I did. I mean, I looked at other places and I looked around. I didn't really get any offers. Mizzou is the only SEC school that offered me.
Wow.
I had offers to like SEMO and Arkansas State and some other schools kind of around the area, but Mizzou is the only bigger school that really offered me. And I was almost committed to SEMO because my brother and dad played football there, so I kind of had connections to it. It was like an hour from my house, and then I had ended up getting drafted by the Royals out of high school late, and Mizzou came around and offered me, and I was like, oh, man, I'm going to Mizzou. And I was fortunate enough that my freshman year in Mizzou, when I went in that summer, the coaching staff that I liked at SEMO actually went to Mizzou as well.
Oh, wow.
So they were a little upset that I said no to SEMO, and then when I got to Mizzou, they completely flipped, and the new coaching staff came and said, oh, it was a win-win for everybody. Yeah. It's pretty cool.
We're just conference hunting, man. You just wanted the SEC tag, huh?
I grew up a Mizzou fan, so whenever that offer came, it's like, oh man,
Fair.
Here we go.
That's awesome. And I guess the last question I was gonna have was there much of a decision for you, going through that process of like maybe signing out of high school, or did you always know that you wanted to go to college? You knew you'd develop from those 3 years or 4, end up being 3, and turn yourself into what you did, which was an early round pick.
I mean, yeah, there definitely was. I thought the goal was to make it to the big leagues. I thought I didn't really have anybody telling me what to do. Like I said, there wasn't very many people with that experience and from where I was, so it was more so like kind of what do you want to do. Obviously my parents wanted me to go to school, but thank gosh the Royals ended up not offering me really any money at all, so it was an easy decision to go to Mizzou and get better, which I'm very thankful for. And worked hard when I was there, and had good around a lot of good players and a lot of good staff, and I got a lot better, and it paid off.
Kameron Misner, last one for you. What do goals look like for you for this year? Are they results oriented goals? Like, are they, hey, I want to hit this, I want to hit X amount of homers, I want to steal X amount of bags, all that stuff, or is it just kind of a daily thing that you want to check off every single day you got in the big leagues?
It's definitely a daily thing. I think it's easy. That's the hardest part about being in the big leagues or baseball in general, is just looking ahead. Well, this is what I could be. This is where I can be if I do this and all that. And it usually spirals downward for you. So I think just showing up to the park every day and looking at it as an opportunity. If I'm in the lineup or if I'm not, like I could come in the back half, but it's an opportunity that I get to help the team win, and that's really what I'm honing in on.
Cool. That was awesome, man. Well, Kameron Misner, we really appreciate you taking the time, man. Best of luck. Keep kicking tail. Been so much fun to watch the Tampa Bay Rays early.
I appreciate it. Thank you, guys.
Awesome. We will talk to you tomorrow again. Every link you need is in the episode description. It'll be Peter and Aram tomorrow. See you guys.